Many years ago, in a house in the mountains, a man began writing a story. My name is Richard, and I work with puppets. And this charming fella here is a pudding. He likes to be called Albert. Now, Albert is no ordinary pudding. He's a magic pudding. You could go on eating him forever without making a dent on him. That's why he's called a cut-and-come-again pudding. As soon as you cut a bit off, it grows back. And because he's a magic pudding, he can be any flavour you want. Steak and kidney, apple dumpling, plum pudding, and so on. This is Bill Barnacle, and this here's his mate, Sam Sornoff. They're the pudding owners. Bill, Sam, and Albert are from a book called The Magic Pudding. The story was written many years ago by Norman Lindsay. Now, Norman Lindsay was a famous Australian artist, and besides writing the story, he also drew the pictures for the book. The Marionette Theatre of Australia has made puppets that look like those pictures so that they can act out the story. Now, we're going to show you where the story came from and how we turned it into a puppet play.
Hurrah! Hurrah! We're three pudding owners bold. We're three pudding owners bold. Albert, come back here!
Which way did he go?
Albert, Bill, Sam, and all the other characters from The Magic Pudding began life here at Springwood in the Blue Mountains. Norman Lindsay lived here for many years, writing, painting, etching, and sculpting. Lindsay was the first Australian artist to explore the artistic possibilities of Australian bush animals, such as the echidna, the kookaburra, and the pudding. Pudding?
I'm Helen, and Norman Lindsay was my grandfather. Of course, he wrote The Magic Pudding in 1917, which was a very long time before I was born. So I only knew him as a very old man. Since I was little, I've had certain favourite characters in The Magic Pudding. But I think my very favourite would have to be Bunyip Bluegum, the hero.
The fact is, said Bunyip Bluegum, I've decided to see the world. He found a great many things to see besides being kept busy raising his hat and passing the time of day with people on the road. For Bunyip was a very well-bred young fellow.
There are other koalas in The Magic Pudding, and I'd like you to meet Egbert Rumpus Bumpus and Uncle Bottleberry.
Morning. Good afternoon.
Throughout his life, Norman Lindsay made hundreds of drawings of koala bears. There was a whole family in magazines like The Lone Hand and The Bulletin. At one time, Grandpa even tried to teach me to draw a koala, but I was never very good at it.
That's for certain. She's right there.
This is Gamboge Bluegum. Like Grandpa, Gamboge painted naked people.
Ooh!
And like Grandpa, Gamboge got into a lot of trouble because of it. In 1914, when the First World War began, Grandpa couldn't go to fight because he wasn't really strong enough. But Billy Bluegum went. Grandpa hated the war. In 1917, his brother was killed fighting in France. And it was shortly after that that he started to write The Magic Pudding.
We shall have to fight them as usual, said Sam. Why do you have to fight them? Asked Bunyip Bluegum. Because they're after our puddin', said Bill. They're after our puddin', explained Sam, because they're professional puddin' thieves. And as we're professional puddin' owners, said Bill, we have to fight them on principle. The trouble is, what's to be done with the puddin'? While you do the fighting, said Bunyip bravely, I shall mind the puddin'.
This story is all about fighting and eating. Norman Lindsay believed that what children were most interested in was eating and fighting, and not fairies, and he wrote a book to prove it. As Australian kids have been reading this book now for over 60 years, maybe he was right. What I like about it is the way it bounces along from fight to fight and from feed to feed, hardly stopping to draw breath. My name is Eleanor, and I wrote the script. That is, I put the book into words for the puppets to say. The fights are usually because two wicked characters called Possum and Wombat are trying to steal the pudding from its owners. Norman Lindsay described them as a snooting, snouting possum, very good description, and a bulbous, boozy-looking wombat you wouldn't trust in the fowl yard. Or anywhere else, if you ask me, certainly not behind your back.
Oh, shh. As the pudding thieves disappeared over the hill, and as evening fell rather suddenly at that moment, Bill said, well, mates, safe and sound at last. Time for a campfire and a good tuck-in. After they'd eaten as much as they wanted, they settled down comfortably for the evening. To bring characters to life in the puppet theatre, starting from a book such as The Magic Pudding, can take many months of work. Here in our workshop, before making each puppet character, Ross and Kim have been carefully studying Lindsay's drawings. This is a frontways view of Bunyip Bluegum and his uncle Wattleberry. At a glance you can see what a fine, round, splendid fellow Bunyip Bluegum is.
Too much gabbering, not enough gasoline.
Ross has traced the picture of Bunyip onto a sheet of clear plastic. So now he can project the picture onto a bigger piece of paper and trace it out again. But this time the drawing is the size we want for the puppet of Bunyip Bluegum. Then it's back to the workshop and on with a rather grubby part of the job, shaping the head out of clay. Always checking with the drawings to make sure that the lump of clay really does end up looking like a koala. And there's Bunyip Bluegum.
Oh, gee. What are you going to do that for?
Well, that's the last we'll see of the clay head, because now Ross uses the two halves to make a plaster mould. While the plaster is drying, there are still a lot of jobs to get on with if the puppets are to be ready in time for the show. Spray painting bandicoots isn't something the conservationists would approve of, but it does add some colour to their lives.
Oh, what'll he do next?
The plaster mould is ready, and now Ross can get on with the job. The heads of the puppets are made from a type of plastic cloth. First you wet the cloth in a special liquid, and then you can push it into the mould. Very sticky, this bit. The two halves of the head take a little while to dry, but when they do, they're very hard and strong. After covering with fabric, we have a puppet head that can take pretty rough treatment. Mr. Bluegum, not it. Patience, Mr. Bluegum, patience. It's your turn, Parrot. The puppets are having the finishing touches applied. At last, rehearsals can begin.
I've got the mad of me bison, fungus face.
Forward yet again. I've got a stick, I've got a stick, I've got a stick to walk with. I've got a mind to think with, and I got a voice to talk with.
You've got a stick, you've got a stick, you've got a stick to walk with. You've got a mind to think with, and you've got a voice to talk with. He's got a stick, he's got a stick, he's got a stick to walk with. He's got a mind to think with, and he's got a voice to talk with.
Yeah, just once more, Sam, turn too late. Got a mind, a 2 and a 3 and stop. Yeah, not bad.
Marguerite is trying to teach the puppets to
I've got a
dance.
stick, I've got a stick to walk with. I've got a mind to think with, and I got a voice to talk with.
You've got a stick, you've got a stick, you've got a stick to walk with. You've got a mind to think with, and you've got a voice to talk with. He's got a stick, he's got a stick, he's got a stick to walk with. He's got a mind to think with, and he's got a voice to talk with.
On this one, can we all maybe, I don't know if we're on the same foot, but could you ask?
Not only do the puppets have to learn to dance, so do the puppeteers underneath.
He's got a stick, he's got a stick, he's got a stick to walk with. We all start with the back foot. He's got a mind to think with, and he's got a voice to... Just so we've got all the... He's a bit frantic on the turn. He's sort of going, ooh, at the moment.
Is he?
Just... That's better, yeah.
Okay, now that's looking nice. Let's go back and do the fight sequence again. What we're doing here is we're doing bits of the play over and over again, practicing it until it looks good enough to show people in the theatre. Do you remember the Pudding Thieves? Well, they've been up to their old tricks again, and this time they've stolen the pudding. The puppeteers are about to rehearse a scene where the pudding owners catch up with the pudding thieves.
Attention! Don't!
Aha! Too late! There's Albert! After him!
Leave him to me. Take that, you boozy wombat! For those you feel who do not deal in common vulgar pumping, higher motives we appeal. It is to teach you not to steal.
Now then, now then, now then!
Mr. Barnacle, Mr. Sawnoff, the law!
The law be hanged! I said now then! Now then!
I'll spifflicate you,
Because the puppeteers get a bottom view of their puppets, it's hard for them to see exactly what their puppets are doing. One way of helping them is to record parts of the show and play it back on a television set.
Take that, you pilfer and possum!
I still hate that, you boozy wombat!
And dribbling. Dribbling one way, dribbling back the other way. She wouldn't say that to
Take that, you boozy wombat!
Although we try to make the puppets as light as possible, the puppeteers still have to get used to holding them over their heads for a long time.
Yeah. One pudding thief is worth 3 pudding owners any day.
After him!
Catch him, Bill!
Albert, come back here!
Which way did he go?
Look, there he is!
Run, everybody, run!
Right, we'll go right back from the beginning and do it all again.
Run, everybody, run! Wait for me!
Okay, let's see that again, eh? Rehearsals are over and the puppet play can really begin. Now, after months of getting ready, we're in the theatre. Let's have a look at the puppets on stage.
Albert!
Bill, old friend.
Good gracious me.
What's this bung
Bill, Sam, before I go.
Go? Go where? Ain't you been?
No, so dear old friends, old pals, old cobbers.
Eh?
He's raving. He's ill.
Indeed, it would seem.
Oh, ill, no, dying,
Dying?
dying, poison.
Poison?
Didn't you say so yourselves? Oh, don't try to spare me. Goodbye, goodbye, old friends, old mates.
Well, of all the... You ain't poisoned, Albert.
It's not much fun living in a country unless you can learn to value the things that make it different from the rest of the world. For Australians, the magic pudding is one of those things.
But you ain't dying, and that's for certain.
Nah, there's nothing wrong with you.
Nothing?
Not a sneeze. So cheer up.
You cod-faced bunch of mouldy mullet! You lop-eared lot of frozen pie suckers! You cabbage-headed grub guzzlers! And half pints of greasy Bill's water! Snivelling bunch of cross-eyed
Sit on him,
tomatoes.
Sam. Sit on him. Well, mates, here we are at the end of the story, and we still haven't put an end to all this chasing and fighting and pudding-thieving business.
Seems to me there just ain't no end.
But gentlemen, the solution is simple. If we stop wandering along the road, the story will stop also.
That's true.
Let us remove to some safe, secluded spot where no pudding thief would dare to show a sacrilegious head. In fact, let us build a house in a tree.
Mates, there's the answer. A house in a tree.
That's the song of them that row. The song of roaring, roaring seas, all about rolling home. It's all about rolling home.
Of course, the story never really ends. For the moment, the pudding owners are safe and sound in their treehouse with Albert locked away in his pudding paddock. But sooner or later, the pudding thieves will be back, and all the chasing and all the fighting will start again.
And how do you think I'll feel stuck up in a tree like a canary, eh? Fat lot you care. Oh, I'd rather be with pudding thieves any day, you want a little fine barrel.